when did you know that you wanted to be a fashion designer?
I think, you know, I had to kind of go back in time and really like figure out when was the proper time that I wanted to be a fashion designer. I think with the age of 12, I would say, because I moved with 15 to Austria, so you know, I think it would have taken me 2 years to realize that. But I was very interested in other things other than just fashion, you know. My mom was a topographer, so I had the connection with architecture, and I was very, very obsessed with, you know, drawing buildings, and kind of like I was fascinated in having the perfect house when I was little, and I was dreaming how, you know, I would kind of construct it, and it was very linear. So everything had to be symmetrical. I was obsessed with symmetry, you know, and also I wanted to be a ballet dancer. So in a way, like, these things, if you see them in the long run, kind of connect to each other and they build up a personality, I guess. You know, I was very fascinated by the body and, you know, and the linear works of, say, like buildings and cities. And I'm still very interested in that.
I think it's interesting that you started talking about kind of your mum and
Dad.
Like, the architectural.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because a lot of people make out that it's important that your dad worked in a bra factory. And so, is that right?
Yes, I mean, my dad was a production manager in Triumph International, which is a bra company, underwear company. And I used to very often actually go and visit him after school. So I had a relationship with the machinists that were in the building and the technicians that would do pattern cuttings. And I wasn't really aware at that time that I really wanted to do fashion, and probably like also because my dad, when I first thought of doing fashion, kind of straight away thought, oh, the link with the underwear, maybe he wants to be an underwear designer. I really quickly like just pulled him off the idea. So I think technically I was very interested to see the machinery. You know, little components actually built my obsession around fashion. I actually never had a passion to look into a stereotypical fashion magazine. I was much more interested to see like photographic evidence of that time, and it was very much like, you know, a recollection of Herb Ridge and Irving, Penn, you know, lots of like really big photographers, most of the time black and white. It was also the time of the supermodels, you know, so kind of in a way I was really liking the idea of these beautiful women, like in a certain you know, scenery, portraying something that was like always changing. I really liked that.
How did you then kind of come to establish your label?
Well, I think first of all, like after I've shown with Kim Jones, few people, also through the magazine that I was doing consultancy work, picked up on the name, and then Lulu Kennedy, which was like a fan of my work, and you know, she definitely helped me throughout the process of building up the collection. She approached me and said, would you like to kind of showcase your designs during London Fashion Week? The first collection was very much about the composition of two elements together, the jewelry together with the linen, you know, which derived kind of like of a relationship of garmentology in Greeks, folkloric history. So linking garments together with a piece of jewelry. So that was the concept. And afterwards I decided to follow the advice of Lulu, and I showed in Fashion East. I really loved the setting, you know, we were in a forgotten place in London, you know, Camden Town, you know, still was very, very original at the time. And we showed in a club, and it was like, you know, very organic, you know, we decided to go ahead. I think we had only 1 month to go, and I think it was £3,000 we got for the whole collection. So it was, you know, it was like quite exciting to kind of have the opportunity. So also the music, you know, everything that was in the show, like, was, you know, it was kind of with a punch. I like that.
It's pretty uncompromising. It's sort of,
Uncompromising.
you know, they are supermodel dresses.
Yes, I mean, like, you want to wear something and look like a supermodel, I guess. Not a supermodel, but like a superwoman, I guess. Like, you know, you want to look beautiful and sexy, and that's what the collection embodied. You know, it was a black collection. It kind of originated by many different things that I really loved in fashion. You know, the black, the mystique, but also, like, you know, there was a hint of a conceptual side, you know, replacing parts of a garment with a metal piece, and that would kind of function, not just be like a decorative piece. You know, it kind of created almost like a structure to lean on, or to make you have a certain position. So I really liked this starting point. It was a good introduction, like that, you know, these garments are about the body, you know, and this was my kind of identity. I wanted to kind of create, and I still want to create garments that are related to the body, because that's what we're actually covering. And, you know, for me it was like a natural way to create, you know, to emphasize, but also like to actually manipulate certain parts of the body. So the first collection was very much like the, you know, supporting the body, but also like taking away parts of the garment and kind of like covering it with silver, you know. For me, that was kind of a beautiful idea, like how you can have a sculptural aspect in something that's fluid.
I mean, you are a relatively young designer in London. I think it was brave. I think a lot of what you do is really brave. It's just so sort of, these statements are very kind of, you like it or you don't, and it's a very brave thing to do. You're not trying to please people. No. It doesn't seem to me.
I mean, no, that's not right to say. I do want to please the Schwab woman, you know, the one that buys the garments, and also the people that, you know, really find inspiration in what I do. I think it's sometimes like so irritating when you kind of, you just look only one aspect in things. It's the same with clothes. Why can't you not look at it from another angle? Why do you do only a front and back? Why can't you not do a dress that starts from the top and goes to the bottom? You know, I think it's very frustrating sometimes that, you know, you have to have the aspect of the wow factor, and because you're doing something new as well, you want to kind of like attract something that is very personal, something that actually inspires you. So to show it in the full extent, I don't understand why
you wouldn't push it.
Why you wouldn't push it? Of course, I don't mean to do fashion that is art, you know, and I don't think it should be treated as such. But I do think sometimes, like, the fantasy of like dressing up and putting on something, of course, if it doesn't, like, you know, enclose you in the extent that you don't feel free and you cannot bring your personality through the garment, it can be, you know, very interesting and very inspirational for the person who wears it.
I think we've talked a lot about kind of Marius Schwab,
yeah,
the man, and Marius Schwab, the label, and I want to talk a little bit about Holston.
Sure.
Because why do you think that Holston is right?
First of all, like, I really, really love the brand, you know. I really have good memory of what it was about, and, you know, I like the era, you know, the people, the fantasy, you know. And I think there is a certain DNA that kind of is portrayed through my garments as well, in a very different way. Nevertheless, you know, it is about timeless pieces, both aesthetics, you know, timelessness, and Holston, sculptural in a fluid way, Marius in a less fluid way. I like doing things that are not obvious. I like doing things that are a challenge, and I do love the history of Holston, you know.
I think another thing that you picked up on was you were talking about kind of Holston as a brand and as a lifestyle. Is that where you have this ready-made brand that you're going to kind of go and you get all of those connotations, but for Marius Schwab, what is the future? Is that what you ultimately aspire to? Do you want it to be kind of, not a Marius Schwab, not that there couldn't be a Marius Schwab fragrance, but, you know, do you envisage it being a lifestyle built around that kind of aesthetic?
Yeah, in some certain way, yes, of course. But, you know, I think, like, what I want to achieve with Marius Schwab is, like, really build on the brand, make it a brand, you know. I want to create, through the ready-to-wear collection, wider range of products that really fit with Marius Schwab and the body. I like combining things together, and this is something that Marius Schwab talks about, you know, also the collaboration aspect of Marius Schwab. Putting an artist inside an unfamiliar work and challenging him with, you know, with something that is very different. It's definitely going to continue in lots of aspects of Marius Schwab. This is where I want to take it.